Yo.
Hey, handsome.
You're gonna make me do something to you.
Antwan.
You wearing that dress.
Hi, handsome.
Hey, babe, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
I'm loving your haircut.
Thanks.
Ow.
I mean, we might be really attractive right now.
Let's do what we need to do first. Oh my goodness. You moving closer?
Do something strange for a piece of change.
Oh my goodness. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Antwan.
And I'm Samvia.
And we're the Henrys.
Hey
and the
guys, Henrys are in his house. Was that what you were trying to say?
The Hizzle.
My nizzle. My nizzle.
Word bizzle.
Y'all don't even know that was Snoop Dogg back in the day, right? The Izzles. Everything was like the Izzles.
Word trizzle.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to our channel. Welcome back to the home. I don't like saying channel. We gotta think of something else to say. Like, welcome back to the spot. Welcome back to the house.
Come check me.
Come check me. That's like saying goodbye, but we're like,
come back. Come back.
What can we say? You sound like
thanks
Omar.
for coming back.
So like Omar, listen.
Omar,
listen, how can we greet them? Like, y'all let me know in the comments. What should we say? Should we say like welcome back to the crib? No, because that sounds like crib.
I should just do a cartwheel when I come in.
And head up against the dresser or something. We're not the ceiling. We're not gonna do that. No.
I'm not Shaq.
Why won't we say something like "Welcome back to the house"? Anyway, guys, I am super excited.
Room 112, where the players do. I was about to get into my rap stuff. Nice.
Y'all, welcome back. Okay, we're gonna figure out what little lingo we should say to, our little word. What's our little word we should say? Okay, but right now it's just like, hey guys.
Peace.
Peace is goodbye.
Hey, give me peace. What's up?
Okay, guys, really quick because we don't have too much time.
Timer.
But we wanted to come to you guys with another sit down.
They got a lot of questions about this.
A lot of questions pertaining to our last video. Okay, our last video, if you guys are not knowing what we're talking about, I'm going to link it somewhere on this screen.
Right there.
Right there. So it's somewhere, y'all. The last video is how we overcame the dysfunction in our relationship. That's a mouthful, okay? And if you haven't yet to see that video, then definitely go and check out that video because this is going to be like part 2 to that video because a lot of people wanted to know more about the miscommunication that Antwan and I experienced. So if you don't know, we used to have a lack thereof of successful communication. And that was one of the things that was...
Yeah, a lack thereof. Successful communication.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of words. Yeah. We had miscommunication.
We had
terrible
bad communication.
Poor, terrible, all of that, terrible things, okay? And we didn't thrive in our communications area. But now we're thriving.
I like how you said it that time.
You like how I said that?
It was like communications.
Now we're thriving, guys. And we're just going to share some of the things that helped us. And prayerfully, it can help you guys.
All right.
So how do you feel? I'm just going to open it up. How do you feel like our communication has evolved?
I think the techniques we started using.
Okay.
So we went to a class called the Push Program at our church, and they taught us how to communicate when you're having a disagreement. What should you do?
Okay.
And it's called the knee to knee. And I think we graduated from the knee to knee to being able to have a conversation where one of us can talk and the other one can listen.
Okay.
I think we kind of graduated from it. But sometimes we go back to it.
Yeah. I think I appreciate you sharing that. The knee to knee was very important. The knee to knee, and it's a technique. It's literally what it sounds like. And we don't have to move our chairs, but I'm just going to just show you what it is. And we probably did a YouTube short on it, guys. But this is knee to knee. And what happens is, and what we've learned and what we were taught is that we're here. We're connected together.
So you got a 2-person circle, number 1. Number 2, you have to eventually die to yourself. That is, you have to humble yourself to get here. This is a big step because when you upset with each other, how do you get here?
Yeah, because sometimes you don't want to touch each other.
Right. So now you just have to just get to that point.
Right.
I'm touching you.
Right.
I'm touching you.
Right. So listen, so the need and need. So with the need and need is like, we're like Antwan said, he was getting off subject, y'all.
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Need and need, we're touching each other, right? We're in close proximity to one another, right? We're looking at each other, right? So we're connected.
You got something, you know, let me get it. You can't be doing need and need, nothing, you know.
Thank you.
Right.
So we're connected, right? So I remember that even in the beginning of us doing need and need, especially during a heated argument,
He's like this.
right? Because I didn't want to touch him. I didn't want to look at him. You know, I was upset. You was upset. So we realized that throughout the years of practicing this technique, that it required us, like Antwan said, to humble ourselves. We had to lay aside our pride in order to get here.
Right.
Thank you for sharing that. One of the other techniques that we've learned to do, because you also said that after we graduated from there, it took us a while. I don't want you guys to think that communication with us, we've been married for 6 years now. Thank you, Lord. Communication is always evolving because we are, as people, are evolving. So I think that you have to understand that first, right? So after the need and need took a little while for us.
But even so we felt we graduated, right? So even when we felt we graduated,
I had to go back.
let me tell you how my stance was. I'll sit there and be listening to my wife, and I feel that I'm comfortable.
Right.
And I'm like this. So if you ever seen somebody sit like this, that means like it's a problem.
Right.
Or it feels like you're intimidated. And not how the conversation will go to another level that you don't want it. So the way that you have to sit, if you graduate, you gotta lean in.
Right.
So you need to lean in. So it's like I'm really listening. I'm really understanding what she's saying, even if she's across the room.
Right.
You still can't be like I like sitting like this. I love it. I feel I'm comfortable. I can listen. I can understand. But it's not about you.
Right.
So you have to be able to lean forward so you can be able to understand. So she can be like, okay.
Right.
He understands, so now I can tone myself down.
Very good.
Body
Antwan, we can't get whatever you're trying to get us right now.
You don't, okay, so you will categorize later?
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. That's very important. Body language is, when people think about communication, they automatically think about the verbal communication. And I know like this is like basic. I know you guys are like scholars, right? So you guys already know this stuff, but we didn't know it initially. So I'm going to share it. Communication is not just verbal. It's nonverbal communication. So I will be ready to have a full-fledged conversation with my husband, and he's sitting back, arms crossed, feet crossed. And his facial expressions, you already know his facial expressions are very deep. So I had to learn them. Now they don't faze me. Like they still faze y'all. His facial expressions don't faze me on a good day because I know him and I know his heart. But with those nonverbal signals you were giving off, you had to learn like, okay, I can't be standoffish.
So it's like even if you're not intended, I wasn't intended to being defensive.
It was intentional.
It was, but she felt I'm being defensive. So it'll come up in the conversation.
Right.
So to eliminate your behavior, you have to lean into what she may like or what he may like. Even so, like we had to learn to be quiet when the other is talking.
Right.
And then how can you do that if you ain't doing need to me?
Right.
So that's big.
Right. It's two things that you said that I want to just piggyback on. You said that even though it was unintentional for you to give off those signals, right? But that's the way that I was receiving it. That's called perception. So everyone's perception is different. And there were times that I would perceive things that you weren't even throwing out.
I wasn't even thinking about.
You wasn't thinking about, and I was just perceiving it. So perception also had to do with our lack of communication.
But I think it's called the debate of love language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like
you did that.
I just made that up.
Yeah, I figured that.
I just made that up. The debate of love language, you know.
Why you say that though?
Because like it still, regardless if I don't agree with something that happened or I'm upset with you, don't mean I don't love you. So we still have to have some type of love during that conversation. So it's like that, like another effective is like watch what you're saying during your argument or whatever it may be, because once you say some things that hit below the belt, that person will never forget them.
Yeah, that's what we learned as well. We learned how not to hit below the belt. So now that we're going into that, let's touch on that, because I know that for me, and I'm going to be honest, and I have to be transparent. You know what I mean? It holds nothing. I won't gain anything if I'm not completely honest with myself and with you and with the people, right? So one of the things that I've learned to do is I used to be very argumentative, very argumentative. Almost like a great debater. You know, I would look at that show with Denzel Washington, that movie, and I'm like, I can debate my behind off. That's just something like, as a little girl, I was supposed to be a lawyer. I was supposed to be an attorney, okay? So those are my natural gifts, okay? I can articulate very well, you know, if I do say so myself. So with that being said, I would make sure I was having my things in order. If an argument was scheduled, I knew what I was going to say from point A to point Z, go all the way from 1 to 100. I knew how to say it.
So you had your agenda already ready.
I had it ready. But then I realized that in me getting ready, like having my ammo already like to the side, I realized that I would say things that were below the belt, that were really hurting you, right?
Well, I think what we have learned is that you don't come to an argument with an agenda. And I think that comes from hearing, because if you hear the person just saying, I just need you to apologize, that might could stop you going to Z.
Right.
So it's just, active listening is a big thing in debates. Active listening is a big thing in debates.
And not even in debates, and communicating.
And communicating.
Right? So I don't want people to think that communicating is just debates. No, communicating is
everything.
Being open, being transparent, talking about these things. You and I got to a place where we can have these crucial conversations. And some of those crucial conversations you may not agree with. I may not agree with it. But we can have them and not be pissed off with each other at the end of the night.
So that means we can have a debate and then make up?
Yeah, but not even just make up.
I'm just asking a question.
You being funny, y'all.
I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny, because I think that's part of marriage, just making up.
That is a part of marriage.
All right, then.
Okay. So I remember that God has showed me, though. He showed me some things that in communicating, I remember that I was convicted in my spirit that sometimes when we would communicate, I realized that I would say things that was below the belt. I would say things that was hurtful. And what I realized is that even in my times of frustration and my times of complete, like, I'm empty, that is not my time for you to be my punching bag. Mm-hmm. You're not my punching bag.
Right.
And I had to learn that. And I believe that once I've learned that my mouth, right, we know that there is life and death in the power of the tongue. Mm. So certain things that we can say can bring life to our partner, or it can bring destruction or death to our partner. So I realized that I have to watch what I say to you. Mm. I have to watch the way that I communicate and the words that I say to you.
Right. I think it's on both ends. Mm-hmm. I think it's not just, communication, you can't, just because you do it doesn't mean it gives me the right to do it at all. Mm-hmm. So we have to have that balance as well. So you have to, you always got to keep humble. Humbling yourself is the biggest thing in communication.
I agree.
Regardless of if it's you guys are happy or you guys are upset.
Right. Communication is going to be the most foundational thing in a relationship. If you can't communicate, how can you continue to thrive and move on and continue to grow as one?
Right.
You have to communicate. Mm-hmm. And again, we have to keep in mind that those communication is not just verbal, nonverbal communication.
Right. Even walking around the house being upset,
right.
That's big too. Mm-hmm. You silence and just walking around the house and bumping and walking past and doing this. Somebody gonna have to grab somebody. Somebody gonna have to say, "Hey, what's going on?" Here go a hug. You don't gotta talk right now. Here go a hug. I'll talk to you later. It could be that simple. It don't have to be nothing real big. Just don't keep that energy because your kids see.
Right. So I think that we kind of said that earlier. Well, a couple of days ago, you and I were talking. We were saying don't match energy. right? And I think that that's the same thing in marriage as well. Don't match the energy.
Right.
Because I remember, like, I used to see you, like, you have come a long way. And I know you still got places to go, but your faces, your expressions are very deep. And that used to piss me off. I would see some of your facial expressions and assume that you were having an attitude. And what would I do?
You'll get to that level. Like,
right.
you'll do the neck thing.
Right. I would get on your level. I would be angry and upset and have a whole attitude because I perceived that you had an attitude.
So that's the part of dying to yourself. So like that's like, so if you perceive something, so this is a big tip. If you perceiving something from the significant other, your husband, wife, and you feel they're upset, go to them. Don't assume, because assume makes a what? I'm not gonna say it.
Right.
But if you go to them and say, hey, maybe that person had a long day, it has nothing to do with you, it's just that what they had happen at work, or they had happen at the store. Because it has happened to me that it has happened at the store, and she don't know that something happened at the store, and I'm just into my feelings. So it's both ways. Or it could just be like, it's hot outside. It don't gotta be something that deep. So just ask the person. That's what I think.
And I appreciate you opening up, but that was something that we struggled with, because even though you're saying that it has nothing to do with me, you are in charge of your person, and you are in charge of the energy that you give off, right? So if you are just tired, or if you are upset and in your feelings because you had an engagement at the store, you need to open up and communicate that. Right, that's all a part of communicating, and sometimes we still go through it sometimes. But you got to be mindful of the energy that you give off.
Right,
you got to be a complete 100. Like what I do, that I try to inform you. Like, I apologize if I'm coming off a little aggy. I don't know if I'm getting my period. I don't know. I'm just a little frustrated with work right now. I'm just a little like, the baby is getting, like the crying is getting to me. I just got some emails from work, like, right? I try my best to be open and honest and transparent with communicating how I feel. So that if something comes off to you in a way that I don't want it to come off, I apologize. But I think that that's something that we have to do.
Right, I agree. And I don't do that. I don't do that at times. Sometimes I just go sit in the backyard, or I'll sit on the couch. Sometimes I need a break. So I just take time away. But I never should be nasty though. I don't agree with that at all. I don't care what shape or form happen out in the world. Once I come to 1, 2, 4, nothing.
Right.
Nothing. I don't agree with that. I'll probably not be nasty. I don't want to be nasty to you about anything that happened out there, because you're not them.
Right. But I just definitely think that it's not even about you being nasty. I think that sometimes, like, you can just come off, and I'm saying you in general, okay, not you per se.
I know.
Is that when you're frustrated with work, you're frustrated with the kids, you're frustrated sometimes with yourself. You can just get upset with yourself. You can be upset, and it can come off like you're upset with the person. So that's why I think that it's just important just to be like, hey, babe, I'm okay right now. I'm going to go ahead and go sit in the backyard. I have to digress. I have to unwind. I have to get my emotions in order. And I think that's okay.
I have to woosah.
Right.
Right.
And I think that's okay. But I believe that for us, that's the stage that we're in with our communication as a married couple. We're learning how to be completely open, like an open book. This is what I'm feeling right now. And learn that there's no judgment on the other side.
Where I think that's where it's at. So I think that's what makes it 100, when you know that you don't have judgment. You got support.
Right. Yeah.
Anything else about communication?
I appreciate you opening up and, being vulnerable. I think that is very hard, and a lot of couples don't feel comfortable doing it. You know what I mean? But I think that our vulnerability and us being transparent can then help somebody else who are just going through it. We've been through it. We still go through it. You know what I mean? Marriage is always evolving.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people just go with emotion with communication. Either I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that, or
Right.
they'll hear of it in the long run
Right.
later on. So, you know, keep it tight as much as you can so you can build that great foundation.
Right. I agree. All right. Thank you.
See you later.
Talk to you guys later.
Peace.